It's a great honour to be asked to speak about Arthur Berry because he is one of the leading intellectual figures from this area, with an amazing ability to command a huge presence in the field of painting and also drama and poetry.
And I'm really interested to write on Berry because he's a sort of odd dichotomy, both personally and artistically. You know, you look at him and he looks like a scruffy Pennine farmer, and then when he starts talking, you know, he talks with this wonderful, kind of insightful, profound voice of a cosmopolitan intellectual.
I went to the art school when I was a boy of 13, got off the bus and I walked into Queen Street, Burslem, and going through it into a building with a portico and stores that opened into a hall with a marble floor. This was another world, a bigger world altogether. And somehow or other, instead of it frightening me or with its strangeness, I felt drawn to it. And I could tell which paintings I liked and which paintings I didn't, and the paintings I liked were mostly dramatic paintings, very dramatic paintings, paintings like artists like William Blake. In my pitiful little way, I would try to copy it, and I came under a number of influences when I was a teenage boy.
And certainly his art education was cosmopolitan. He, after Burslem Art School, he went down to the Royal College of Art, studied in London and met all sorts of people like the two Roberts in Soho.
I found that in London, particularly, there was a world outside. There was a bohemian world, the world of Soho. And I met two young men that came to be very important to me, Robert Cahoon and Robert MacBride. They were two Scotch painters about 10 years older than I was. They were almost the centre of Soho at that time. These men lived, and they lived hard, and they lived almost on the edge of great difficulties. It was a bohemian life they lived, and this was the life that I wanted to live.
The work itself, again, it's a sort of stylistic amalgam between Lowry, the oddball vision of Lowry, urban realism, if you like, and the kind of art brut textural working of surface that's more characteristic of Dubuffet. So that kind of dichotomy between continental abstraction and modernism and this kind of local urban industrial landscape is quite uncanny, really.
From the art school studios, I began to look outside. I saw myself against the setting of this industrial town. My paintings are mostly about familiar things, the world of the streets and houses that I grew up in. This world is both a prison and occasionally a paradise to me. I know it, or think I know it, from inside out. I know the names of all its ghosts, and when they all assemble and whisper to me, I am most at ease with myself. For every painting of mine that survives, there must be 5 or 6 that don't survive. Every painting I have has paintings on the back or paintings underneath. I must have done thousands of paintings for the few hundreds that have survived. I sometimes splash and push and hope for the best. And sometimes, you know, one is fortunate and gratuitous things happen, but very often it's the other way. When Picasso says, I do not seek, I find, he's very lucky. I seek and very often do not find.
This is work of a master of 20th century English painting, and I'm sure that we should see this work more regularly in more places and his voice heard.
His work is full of energy and fierce marking, you know, direct, manual, hands-on labour. You know, they're just instantly memorable because they're so personal to him and so idiosyncratic. And you know, I'm really delighted to be writing this book on him. The exhibition looks absolutely wonderful.